Hi Smarties, Miss Sailing here with your math lesson for today. Before we jump into telling time, I would like to get our brains warmed up, ready to go. So we're going to do some math facts. All right, here we go. First one. 5 plus 4 equals 9. I'd like you to also practice stating it. So just so you can get back into the routine of stating the two, okay, part plus part equals, and then your whole. Here we go. Seven plus 5 equals 12. Next one. Ooh, a double. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 5 plus 6 equals 11. And last one. 1 plus 8 equals 9. And that one you can start with a bigger number and just count up 1. Okay, so brain should be warmed up, ready to go. Today's math lesson, if you did not do yesterday's math lesson, which was 13-1, telling time to the hour, I would like you to do that because I had you make a clock in that lesson. We are on topic 13, which is all about telling time different ways. And yesterday's lesson was about telling time to the hour, and I had you make a clock. So if you did not do yesterday's lesson, I would ask that you go back and click on yesterday's math lesson and make the clock and do that, because I also showed 2 awesome Brain Pop videos, parts of a clock, talking about the hands and the face of the clock and where the numbers go. And then I also showed how to tell time to the hour. But more importantly, we made clocks yesterday. Okay, so I went step by step how to make your clock. Paper plate, even paper is fine. And then we did the hands and then something sharp, like I have a paper clip in the back that I'm using. That's what I'm holding on to, and that's why my hands can spin. So I give more detail about how to make the clock in yesterday's lesson, and then once you do that, then you'll be ready for today's lesson. Today's lesson is I can tell time to the hour using 2 different types of clocks. So we're still working on telling time to the hour, okay, but now working on using 2 different types of clocks. The analog clock, which is what's in my hand, okay, and then a digital clock, like what you may see on a microwave or on a stove. Or some of you have watches that are analog, that are digital, that show you the time, okay? If you think back into our classroom, okay, our classroom has a digital clock. So, analog, okay, digital, alarm clocks. So I'm going to show you right here, using our math book, okay, analog, digital. So those are going to be the 2 different ways we tell time today. Okay, I'm going to give you a little mini lesson, and then I want you to practice. So on my slate, and you can do the same because this is good practice, I have the 2 different types of clock. I drew a digital clock. I just made a rectangle and then the colon in the middle. Okay, this is the separation between the hour and the minutes. And then down here, the analog clock, which is your face. It looks like the one we made yesterday. So if someone was to say, oh, it is 2 o'clock, okay, I would like you to practice, and you can even do this with me, okay? Even a piece of paper is totally fine. On that piece of paper, you can do your digital and your analog. You can pause it right now and then come back. Or if you have a whiteboard, it'll be easier to wipe it off. But you can do this with me, okay? 2 o'clock. Well, we know that o'clock, okay, means something. It means that when we have a digital clock, okay, o'clock There's no minutes. It's always going to be 0, 0. Okay, so it's always going to be 0, 0 for the digital. Always. O'clock. There's no minutes. So all we have to do for the 2, okay, so remember this is the minutes. And there are no, it's o'clock. And the 2 is the hour. The first number is the hour. So there we have 2 o'clock on our digital. Well, yesterday we learned that o'clock, okay, you have your 2 different hands. You have your minute hand and then you have your hour hand. And I showed you the trick yesterday, okay? Hour is the shorter word. That means it's the shorter hand. Minute is the longer word when you're spelling it out. That means it's the longer hand. Well, when we have o'clock, okay, the minute hand is always, always, always going to be pointing to the 12. Always. Okay? Now, 2 o'clock. The hour hand, okay, that's what we read first, is going to be pointing to the 2. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Okay, so that is what we are doing today. We are practicing writing it out, 2 o'clock, writing it out using a digital clock, and writing it out on an analog clock. Both ways. Okay, 2 different types of clocks, 2 different types, still the same time, nothing different there, but just 2 different ways of writing it out. So, then, if you want to, you can add in an extra step. You can grab your clock that you made yesterday, okay, and you can make it on your clock. So again, this is an analog clock. So your minute hand, o'clock, means it's on the 12, and the hour hand is on the 2. 2 o'clock. So you can do it this way too to bring in your clock that you made yesterday. You can practice making it on here. So, here we go. Let's do another one. Where's my eraser? So let's get rid of, I know we're doing o'clock, so you could leave your 0, 0, but it's good practice. Just erasing our numbers in our hands. And our time. All right, let's do, I'm going to pick a number out of my sticks. Picked 4. 4 o'clock. So write it out, 4 o'clock. Okay, then digital, starting with the hour. We know that it's 4. That comes first. O'clock. No minutes. 0, 0. 2. 2, 0, 0, 0. 4 o'clock. That's our digital. Now, same thing. 4 o'clock. Let's start with our hour. We know that it's 4. Okay, and then we know when it's o'clock, it's always going to be pointing to the 12. 4 o'clock on our analog. Okay, let's do one more for practice. Erase, if you're doing it with me. Go ahead and erase. And this time, I'm going to tell you what it is, and then you're going to do it on your digital clock and your analog clock, and then I'll do it too, and then I'll hold it up and we can check our work to see if we got the same. So, let's see. Let's pull another stick. This time I pull, oh, we can't do 18. But we can do, have we done this one? Nope, we didn't. 7. Okay, so let's write 7. 7 o'clock. Your turn. You're going to do it, and then I'm going to do it while you're doing it. There we go. Okay, so you should have 7 o'clock. Think about the hour. Think about what o'clock means. What's it look like on the digital? What's it look like in an analog? And then when you're ready, you can check it with mine. 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Nice job, Smarties. All right, to get a little more practice in, you can either have a parent draw or tell you a time, and you can go from there. Or in our math book today, okay, same thing that we were just doing. They have an analog and a digital, and then they tell you the time, 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, and 1. And you can just take those times and you can write it on either your slate that you're using or your piece of paper. You can do the digital and the analog. So same exact thing we were just doing when you were doing it with me. Now you have these ones. You can pause it and use these times. Or like I said, you can also have a parent tell you a time, and then you can do it that way as well. Okay, so that is your math lesson for today. Again, that was 13.2, which was telling time in 2 different ways, the digital and the analog. So that is it for today for math. Have a great day. Remember, it's supposed to be beautiful outside. It's sunny. Get outside, get some fresh air, enjoy the time with your family. Mrs. Thornley, remember what she said? I sent out the link already to families with the specials website, so you can go on that, Today's Technology. You can click on the technology tab, and then it'll take you to the virtual tours or the webcam, so you can do either of those. So have fun, and I will see you tomorrow for our morning meeting. Bye for now, Smarties.